is supposed to sound like. With your hosts Dave Carney, Chad Forster, and Tammy Grable. This is Live Las Vegas.
Yeah, welcome to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney sitting next to my co-host with the most, back in the saddle again, Chad Forster. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, let's get that mic on. Good
All right, there we go.
There we go.
I got it.
There we go. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome back from Washington.
I was gone for a week, and I forgot how to turn the microphone on. That's what happens. But my dad had surgery. He's doing well, and I'm glad to be back here.
All right, well, it's good to see you. Tammy Grable from Las Vegas Woman Magazine here with us as well. Tammy, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing so good. I'm glad Chad's back sitting next to me. It feels like things are back to normal.
Man, you're so glad that he's back. I'm probably more glad than anybody in the entire room. Chad's back.
No, come on now.
It's going to be
blushing.
You are blushing, but I just thought you were a drinker, so your face was ruddy.
That could be.
That's all right. But we're going to have a great show here for you guys today. Lots of big news to talk about. I mean, so much going on in the world. We're going to start you off right now, though, in our live news.
And now, for an all-new look at stories from around the world and around the town, here's the Live News.
All right, guys, opening up the live news is something that tickles the fancy of reefer heads across Las Vegas. The city of Las Vegas has opened up, I guess, the restrictions and has officially allowed medical marijuana dispensaries to be open within the city limits of Las Vegas, which includes portions of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street east of 8th Street. Now, we talk a lot about downtown Las Vegas here on the show. Been lucky enough to have a lot of people from the Downtown Project on. And as I was telling you, Chad, last night, I mean, you think about how close it is. I mean, you got the Container Park at 7th Street. And then 8th Street's right there. So, I mean, it's a beautiful new day here in Las Vegas for medical patients suffering, of course. Let's start over here. Your thoughts on what this will mean to the city, Chad?
Well, I think there's potential, a lot of revenue involved here. I think eventually they're going to go away from the medical side of it, and it's going to end up being like Washington State and Colorado, especially when we see the model of Colorado, and they're just making money hand over fist. I don't know about the whole zoning thing and all that. Michael and I were kind of talking about that off the air. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I think it's a start. Now the interesting thing is, where are they going to actually produce it, and who's going to actually get it there, and how they're going to get it there. I think that's the other issue. But as far as it being in the neighborhood or any of those kinds of things, it doesn't bother me one bit.
Well, Tammy, let's go to you here, because obviously you run Las Vegas Woman Magazine, kind of dedicated to a higher end clientele of females. Do you feel that there will be any blowback in your portion of the community, so to speak?
I don't think so. This has been a long time coming. It's been in the works for a really long time, and it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise a lot of people. I'm just, from a business standpoint, I'm just wondering, there's going to be 12 dispensaries. Who are those 12 going to be? The race is on now. And I'm curious, what's the business model in Colorado?
Well, in Colorado, I mean, it's just legal at this point, and these dispensaries are just making money. I mean, they're just making money hand over fist over there. And is how it's set up. I don't know exactly how it's set up, but all I know is that it's gangbusters, and if anything, they want to expand it. Now, in Washington State, they have the problem where it's legal, but they have county restrictions, and some counties aren't allowing it to happen, and it's kind of mucking up the works a little bit. And I think that the counties that have decided to get on board are the ones that are benefiting from it. And it really is a bunch of nonsense when you really look into it. I mean, when we compare drugs, my dad just had shoulder surgery, okay? He was on this stuff called Norco, which is like Vicodin, and it has opiates in it. He never takes any drugs. He took 9 of those pills, and he had the hardest time. He had a harder time coming off the pills than he did the actual whole replacement shoulder surgery. And when you look at marijuana specifically for medical purposes, the benefits outweigh any kind of cons. I mean, they really do. Well, they really dig deep into it.
The empirical data is in now on marijuana, and we're seeing this across the board with some of the most conservative organizations in the country, specifically the National Football League. Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the National Football League, coming out in recent statements saying the National Football League is going to look at loosening restrictions on marijuana, especially for the medical use, because, as we're seeing now, Chad, and we're going to touch on this story a little bit later on in our Sports Carnival, when we look at prescription medication abuse, prescription medication misuse, the damaging effects to your long-term health, your well-being, stuff that can even be passed on genetically, is really starting to show. Now, you take a look at what marijuana does, like you mentioned here. The empirical data is in. It's pretty safe. It's pretty natural. So there aren't a lot of side effects. And I think now, though, Tammy, we know why Chad went back to Washington, right? His
research.
dad actually happens to be in a county where they're not tightly restricted, so he said, I got to go up there and see how this is going to work out.
Well, I mean, if you think about Las Vegas, though, if the first place in the United States it was legal, you would think it would be here. It shocked me that it was in Washington State and in Colorado and not in Nevada. I mean, if you think about it.
Well, traditionally, the history of the Silver State, the battle-born state, was to lead the charge on some of the more nefarious-seeming industries. Legal sports gaming found a home here. Prostitution is still legal in all counties, I believe, except for Washoe and Clark. So when you look at that, I have to say we're behind the times on two subjects. First of all, marijuana tourism would be a boon for us. And then second of all, gay marriage. I mean, if you want to look at two industries that can bring in the taxable revenue that brings states out of, a recession to an actual, redlining again, those would be two that I would say we're just way too late on.
Well, I think they just didn't figure out how to regulate it. That's really what the key is how are they going to get their piece of the pie? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The other thing that it's having an adverse effect on is all of these Mexican drug lords. Because there's not as big a need for it in certain states because it's legal. It's legal in those states. So actually, it's having as far as the quote unquote drug war, it's actually working in the favor of the drug war as opposed against it because that's normally how it's been. It's just all been BS to begin with.
Well, let me take it a step further, Dave. What do you think? So medical marijuana legal. What do you think? How long do you think it'll take for recreational use to be legal
in the state of Nevada? I would say at this point they're setting up the medical facilities in a way that when legalization comes as a recreational form, it will be, a highly profitable business. I would say 2 to 5 years. Outside 5, within 2 for sure. I would say on the ballot 2015, no question. And because of, like Chad mentioned, the revenue that Colorado is showing. Now, we didn't talk about it here on this program, but another show that I do, we talked about the taxable revenue that Colorado brought in from month 1. This was January 2014, first month it had been legal, produced over $2 million in taxes for the state of Colorado. Now, for a state like Colorado, with only, I think, about 5 million people in the state, that is a boon. When you look at what Las Vegas could do with 30 million visitors a month coming to Las Vegas on average for the LVCVA's numbers, 30 million, visitors a month can come here. Imagine the partaking that would go on.
Man.
And I think conventions would go up.
Listen, it'd be a much chiller place.
And people are cool about paying taxes when they're high. Because they don't think about it. Like, whatever. How much is it? Extra $5? No problem.
What do you got me on a Dorito tax, man? Oh, this is no problem. Absolutely, I'll take it.
So I think really right now, it's, if you read the article that was in the Las Vegas Sun, Carolyn Goodman was saying, it's trying to find out where they're going to produce it at. And make sure that the zoning's correct and all that. And so they're talking to North Las Vegas about doing down there in the industrial complex. So that'll be interesting how they figure that out. But it sounds like, as far as the dispensaries go, downtown seems like a perfect place for me.
Yeah. Well, it looks
or
like...
to me, not for me.
Well, obviously...
I don't have a medical card.
I was going to say, you're not a patient here. And I
have to get my eyes checked. I might have glaucoma. I'm not sure.
I was feeling a little sore in my back. Does that work here? I'm not entirely sure. But listen, what we're kind of addressing here, I think, is a rapid evolution of mindset. What we might have considered 10 or 15 years ago is absolutely off the table. And this goes to the two industries that I mentioned, legalized gay marriage and medical or recreational use of marijuana. The mindset and ideologies of Americans have changed so vastly in 15 years, 5 years even, that I think what we're seeing are new industries are going to be springing up a lot now because we're starting to, I think we're starting to open to some other possibilities.
Well, not to mention we're painting ourselves in a corner. California would benefit hugely if they actually made it legal. Look at all the financial trouble that state is in.
Yes.
If they were able to tap into that, which like Humboldt County, it's pretty much legal even though it's not. I mean, if they tapped into that and started generating revenue, they could actually bring that state from the grave, back from the grave, honestly.
And they had talked about the proposed tax revenue that would be coming in from a state like California, which we have to remember has over 34 million people in California. Over a tenth of our country's population lives within the Golden State. You're looking at a potential of $2 to $8 billion a year in taxes.
Wow.
Think about that. $2 to $8 billion a year in single state taxable revenue. Now, this is where I think states' rights, Chad, come into play, really, really largely. Here we are in Nevada, obviously a huge state for states' rights. This will be something we're getting on, and we're going to do this. If a state like Mississippi or Alabama doesn't want to partake and participate, that's completely within their rights as well.
That was the whole point of the United States.
That's right.
Actually, it was just United States, not the United States, and it was incorporated in 17, whatever it was. And it became one unit. But, it was about, okay, I don't like what the state of Nevada does. Well, then don't live there. Move to Colorado. Move to wherever you want to move to. That was kind of the whole point. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and I think it's, what's really great for states, though, is being able to take a look at their own financial situations. I mean, Tammy, here in Las Vegas, you see distressed homeowners, you see small businesses going out, and it should be the impetus of the folks in Nevada to change that when they see necessary. So if we look at industries, that might not work in other states, heck, not everybody can have gold and silver mining in their states. When we look at these kinds of industries, we have to think what's going to work for the people in the state that we're in. All right, guys, it's 1:15. We're going to step aside, take our first look at traffic here on Live Las Vegas. When we come back, we're going to jump into some more juicy stuff with owners in the NBA and the Sports Carnival. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking about entertainment. Keep it locked right here on Live Las Vegas.
It's 1:15 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. This report is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Farmers Insurance believes that the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. To find your local agent and get smarter about your insurance, call 888-96-FARMERS. That's 888-96-FARMERS. On your freeways right now, accidents 215 eastbound at Paradise and 215 eastbound at the 15. There's a crash Las Vegas Boulevard approaching Silverado Ranch, and work continues on a new interchange at 15 and Cactus. That's between St. Rose Parkway and Silverado Ranch. The speed limit is down to 55 miles per hour. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Denise Marameyer on News Talk 720, KDWN.
Attention men, are you one of the millions suffering from ED? Has Viagra or Cialis failed you? Are you suffering from low T or just wish you could last longer? New Male Medical Center can help you discover the new you. Their doctors offer state-of-the-art FDA-approved treatments that are 98% effective. You'll see results on your very first visit. Their treatments will work even when Viagra and Cialis have failed. Guaranteed. Call New Male Medical Center at 702-505-4414 today to schedule your no-obligation appointment. Calling now is the best decision you will ever make for your sexual health. Join the thousands of patients who are no longer suffering because they had the courage to call. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414. New Male Medical Center. Discover the new you. 702-505-4414. That's 702-505-4414.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Now, back to Live Las Vegas with Dave Carney, Chad Forster, and Tammy Grable.
And welcome back to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave Carney sitting next to Chad Forster and Tammy Grable here in the beautiful Beasley Broadcast Studios. Guys, a really nice day out today. Kind of got a break from some of the heat. Got good cloud coverage up in the air. And we've got some tickets to give away for tonight's baseball game to the Las Vegas 51s versus the Sacramento River Cats. Now, let me tell you, the Las Vegas 51s have been playing some damn good baseball. We got a chance to talk to Don Logan last week over here at the station, and you look at how the 51s are built right now. The organization that they've put together, Wally Backman as the manager, and some of the players they have on the field, it's really, really fantastic to see. They are number one in the Pacific League right now, record-wise. I believe they are 29-12.
Yeah, and it's only Wally Backman's second season, and he made strides in his first season, and so the sky's the limit with this guy and the Mets organization. I think that we've got something special here.
Yeah, no, we definitely do have something
special.
special.
Because the Wranglers are gone, so we got to lock onto something.
Man, I was going to say that's a great transition. We're going to talk about the fate, or I should say the ill fate of the Las Vegas Wranglers a little bit later on. But the number to reach us here in studio again, 702-257-5396, 702-257-5396. We have got 2 field passes to tonight's game against the Sacramento River Cats. I guess I should have mentioned that these aren't just tickets to see the game. These are field passes. So give us a buzz right now. Guys, we're going to jump in, though, to our Sports Carnival. Let's keep it going.
Covering the sports stories that come from everywhere. It's time for the Sports Carnival with Chad and Dave.
All right, here we are, Sports Carnival time. And guys, you know, and Tammy, this is one where you're going to be ready to rock and roll on this one, too, because this isn't so much a sports story as these are human interest pieces. We have got one of the most popular owners in the NBA, Mark Cuban, coming out recently in an interview and you know, really making some statements that I'm going to be curious to hear what you guys both think. But in my opinion, statements that we all think, we just don't say. Tammy, starting off with you, when you heard Mark Cuban say, hey, if I saw a guy in a hoodie on one side of the street, I'd run across the street. If I saw the white guy with tats on the other side, I'd probably run back. Do you feel that Mark Cuban was out of line, or do you think he's kind of voicing what we all think and feel in some way?
You know what? At the end of the day, he is still a public figure. He has to be conscious of what he says because backlash, he apologized for it. You know, he could say, oh, everyone's thinking, but 2 days later, a day later, you get the backlash and you have to apologize for it. You still need to be conscious of what you're saying. He's a public image. And I know he wasn't, thinking about Trayvon. He wasn't thinking about any of that. He just made a statement and stepped in it.
All right, Chad,
well,
go for it.
It's one of those things where I'm kind of torn. I agree with that. I mean, the fact that he is an owner of, in the NBA, obviously with this Donald Sterling stuff that just came out, probably bad timing. Talking about hoodies, it probably wasn't a good reference necessarily. But at the same time, at some point in our culture, we have to get this out on the table. And people like Mark Cuban and people that are in the public figure have to stop lying about stuff and have to be honest. And if that honesty is, hey, if I'm walking down the street and I see a black guy in a hoodie, I go across the street. If he's being honest, I mean, he admits that he doesn't think it's right. He knows it's wrong, and he tries to correct himself during, whenever he comes to these conclusions in his head. But the fact is that still goes on. And the only way we ever work through anything is by getting it out in the open.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going to go with that next year. And again, you can reach us in studio 702-257-5396. We've got a couple of callers on the line we're going to get to. And, my take on this is, look, if we're going to have racial repair, okay, and I'm just going to put this out there. I am the father of a biracial child, okay? I still have to agree with somebody like Mark Cuban when we admit what prejudice is, which is nothing more than prejudgment. It's not bigotry. It's not racism. It's prejudice in its traditional form of the word is prejudgment. Now, we say don't judge a book by a cover, but we do. If the book has a better looking cover, we're more apt to buy it. If it has a worse looking cover, we're more apt not to buy it. I think that we need to get over ourselves in some way and grow up, put on our big boy and girl pants, and have a discussion. Because, see, here's what happens. A lot of times we hide from these things. We push them off into the corner. We don't talk about them. And then when things boil up and come out, we seem worse than we actually are. When if we were allowed to have a normal, mature discussion about this and say, hey, listen, I'm a billionaire, and I'm like afraid of anybody that doesn't wear khakis and loafers. Cool. I mean, hey, great. I get it, okay? Listen, I am a white guy with a bald head. It's not my choice. Well, it just so happens to be. But I can see that.
Well, and it works both ways. Dave and I were talking on the phone, and there's a guy named Chris Anderson. They call the Birdman, who plays for the Miami Heat. All tattooed up. The guy's probably, 6'8", 6'9", whatever he is. If I saw him walking down the road, didn't know anything about sports, I would probably be a little intimidated, too. So, I mean, again, we have to be honest with ourselves, and the only way we get over this is to get it out in the open, have these discussions. And, yeah, are we going to pat him on the back for having those kinds of feelings? No. But at the same time, I kind of pat him on the back for at least being brave enough to put it out there.
Yeah, me too. We've got Frank on the line with us here on Live Las Vegas. Frank, thanks so much for calling us today. How are you?
Compared to death, outstanding. Compared to Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Steve Wynn, not so good.
Yeah, that's too.
I like
we
that.
Feel your pain, brother.
Right in the middle there, Frank. So tell us your thoughts here.
May I comment real quickly on the last segment you did?
Yes.
A little history and education. Since the colonial days, the wonderful gift that the Creator gave us, it has had enemies since the inception of all of them are billion-dollar industries. And if you go back to the colonial to today, the rope industry, the rum industry, the beer and wine industry. Now we'll come up to the pharmaceutical, the paper, the lumber, Dow Chemical to make white paper. You guys got the picture. This wonderful gift has had many billion-dollar corporate enemies.
Yeah.
But coming into the sports, and I'm glad you guys are my generation, and I've asked a lot of constituents up and down the aisle, Dennis Miller said he didn't know. Rick Tittle on Sports Byline said he didn't want to kink anything. And with 2 in, and I know you guys have seen the race, I'll take your guys' responses on the radio. And I'd like to hear all 3 of them. Do you think we'll live, at our age, do you think we'll live, because of a New Yorker that is very sharp, he told me we'll never live to see another Triple Crown winner. And mind you, he's going to be facing very fresh legs and going a quarter mile further. Look forward to hearing your answers.
All right. Well, Frank, first of all, thanks so much.
He's talking about California Chrome.
He's talking about California Chrome. First of all, I want to thank Frank for his input and comment on our first story. And I love how he put that, since the creator.
Well, and one of the guys he's talking about is William Randolph Hearst.
Absolutely.
Of course, is the father of yellow journalism and was a huge proponent of paper and against anything to do with hemp.
That's right.
Which obviously affects marijuana. What he was talking about there is absolutely 100% correct. Do I think they'll see another Triple Crown winner? No, unfortunately not. But I think the California Chrome has a shot.
You know, here's where I'm going to say yes.
But Belmont's such a long race. I don't know.
It is. Here's where I'm going to say yes, there will be another Triple Crown winner. Now,
in baseball.
Yeah, we talked about that perhaps. In horse racing, though, the king's sport, I believe we will see another Triple Crown winner. I do think, though, this is what's going to happen. We'll see the Triple Crown winner, and then they're going to give it that test for horse steroids.
Right, exactly.
And then we're going to find out that it was dirty from horse steroids, and they'll have to take it back. But I do think we'll see a horse win.
Well, and
races.
it looks like that California Chrome is going to run in the Belmont, because they had a question about this nasal strip thing that they wanted to put on the horse. And Belmont decided, okay, that's fine. So he is going to run in it. So, I mean, obviously, there's been 12 since, I think, Affirmed did it in 1978. There's been 12 that have done 2 and have not done 3. He has a great shot. It's a great story. It would be cool if he won. I would love to see this happen. But I just think that last race, man, it's tough.
Well, I do think there'll be another Triple Crown winner, because they're going to start prescribing the horses painkillers, and then there you go.
It's going to be the horses like, you know what? I feel bionic. My hooves don't even feel shoed. I mean, this is great. I'm trotting on air here. Listen, again, we've got tickets to give away to tonight's 51s game against the Sacramento River Cats, and thanks again to Frank and Joe Peelman for calling in here. 2 tickets to give away, field passes. All you have to do, pick up the phone and call us 702-257-5396, 702-257-KDWN. Moving on here, guys, but staying in baseball, local baseball here, the UNLV Rebels have advanced to the second round of the Mountain West tournament with a win last night. 5-3 was the score of the game. Now, Chad, we've got a guy, Tim Chambers, who we remember coaching Bryce Harper over at CSN. I got to call a couple of games over at CSN while Bryce was still playing. And watching Tim now lead this Rebel baseball team to really a new golden era of dominance in the Mountain West, with 15 Las Vegas players and 17 guys from the state of Nevada. How impressed are you?
I'm really impressed, and it shows you go back to the 51s and Wally Backman. You put the right coach in there, and you can make wonders happen, and that's what's happened with Tim Chambers. It took him a couple years, but now he's exactly where he was before at CSN, and he gets the right guys, puts the right butts in the right seats, and he's a great coach. I read the book about Bryce Harper, that the biography. I can't remember who wrote that. It was a great book.
The Last Natural.
Rob
Natural.
Misch. Rob Misch wrote that book, and he talks a lot about Tim Chambers and how he coached, and just what a team guy he is, and a disciplinarian, but at the same time a cool guy. And obviously his players respond to him, and this is what you see come out of it. And the great thing about Las Vegas has always been a kind of a hotbed for baseball players anyway.
Yes, it
There's
has.
been a lot of big Greg Maddux. A lot of big names came out of here. So you just needed the right guy in there, and we found him, and look where they're at.
And Tammy, let me ask you here. I mean, obviously, writing, and editing Las Vegas Woman magazine, I know that, sports isn't, really a main focus for you guys, but it's got to be really good to see the local programs here in Las Vegas, whether it be, high school, whether it be junior high school, whether it be track and field, or whether it be college baseball. It's got to be good for, a magazine entrepreneur as yourself to see the local teams get local kids and then succeed at a high level.
I love this. And following Tim Chambers, he just seems like an incredible leader, right? Just exactly what you said. So that just shows when you have a great leader, you can inspire these kids to just do amazing things and make a great team. And I was around during the Tarkanian days when it was hot, and we were just so...
What were you, like 2?
Come on.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say.
I take that. Good. But we actually had, we were together. The community was together.
Right.
So I love this story of Tim Chambers. I love it so much, and I'm excited to see more from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so his contract is renewing When does he renew his contract with UNLV? Is it?
Geez, I'm not sure. I think the Board of Regents decides on that after the season is over. I mean,
I think they're going to lock him up.
Well,
I think they have to.
I read somewhere that he only had a 1-year contract and he wanted a 5-year contract. So we'll see that.
Hey,
it's
he'll
good,
get
it's
it.
good for him.
Let me tell you what.
Now.
Show him the money. Show him the money. Keep this going. Well, speaking of sports and stuff in the community, guys, want to tell you about a great event going on down at the world-famous MaxPon. We have got a yard sale going on for the LVSA 96 Red Boys team. Now, what this means is that you can get on down to MaxPon, and that's going to be coming up next Saturday, I believe. This Saturday, coming up this Saturday over at MaxPon. You can get a chance to, first of all, meet and greet with some of the best young athletes in town, but second of all, donate to a great cause. Now, these are the Nevada under-18 champions, okay? And the event's going to go on 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So get down there, support some of our local kids, because here's the thing about Las Vegas. You mentioned hotbed. Not only is it just always hot here, but the better our economy does, the more people move here, the better athletes we get, and the more big-time college players we get.
You might meet a future star down
That's
there.
right.
You never know.
Yeah, get an autograph early while they're not being paid for them. All right, guys, it's 1:30. We're going to step aside, take another look at traffic. When we come back here, we are going to be talking about entertainment and some other interesting stuff going on downtown. Stay with us on Live Las Vegas.
It's news, traffic, and weather for Vegas. News Talk 720, KDWN, Las Vegas, a Beasley Broadcast Group station.
AP Update. I'm Rita Foley. He'll be one of the highest-ranking Hispanics in Washington if he's confirmed by the Senate. San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro, nominated by President Obama to be housing secretary. The president pointed out this afternoon that Castro was raised by his mother and his grandmother.
Julian's grandmother came to this country from Mexico. She worked as a maid, worked as a cook, worked as a babysitter, wherever she had to do to keep a roof over her family's head. And that's because for her and generations of Americans like her, home is more than just a house. Home is a source of pride and security.
I stand on the shoulders of so many folks over the generations who have worked very hard and dreamt the American dream and have reached it. And I feel blessed to have reached it as well.
There is a lot of talk that Julian Castro may be a vice presidential candidate in the upcoming 2016 election. AP Update. I'm Rita Foley.
The news brought to you by the Home Depot. Now at the Home Depot, buy Roundup Weed and Grass Killer or Roundup Extended Control Wands. Get a free refill worth up to $19. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. See store for details.
It's 1:32 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. On the Valley Freeways, accidents 215 eastbound at Paradise and 215 eastbound at the 15. There are crashes Decatur at Rancho and Las Vegas Boulevard approaching Silverado Ranch, and a hit-and-run Harmon west of Koval. And NHP now has what they call a zero-tolerance zone. That's on the 15 between St. Rose Parkway and Prim. That means no more warnings for speeders, reckless drivers, or people using their cell phones. You will be ticketed. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Denise Marmeyer on News Talk 720, KDWN.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous MaxPon, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, MaxPon delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at MaxPonLV.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous MaxPon, where luxury meets value.
Thank you, Las Vegas, for making One Nevada the #1 banker credit union in the Review Journal's 2014 Best of Las Vegas poll. To celebrate, we're offering 15-year mortgage loans as low as 2.99%. Apply today at onenevada.org or call 702-382-4094. One Nevada is open to all Clark County and Pahrump residents. Federally insured by the NCUA Equal Opportunity Lender.
At Buffalo Wild Wings, we know this time of year is busy with And
Happy Father's Day!
so this year, instead of this...
Oh, thanks. Another tie.
Give your dads and grads the gift of...
Okay, I've got your medium hot wings, your large boneless...
with a Buffalo Wild Wings gift card. And right now, when you buy $30 in gift cards for them, you'll get a $5 bonus as a thank you to yourself. And that's something worth celebrating.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Valid in restaurant and participating U.S. locations only for a limited time. All supplies last. See bonus coupon for additional terms and conditions.
Just in time for summer, the Home Depot has the exclusive, easy-to-install Hampton Bay 52-inch flow ceiling fan. Just $99.97 with free remote and light bulbs. Memorial Day savings of over $19. So let's upgrade, cool down, and save energy for years to come. Let's do this. The Hampton Bay 52-inch flow ceiling fan, just $99.97. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through June 1st, U.S. only. See store for details.
Now, back to Live Las Vegas with Dave Carney, Chad Forster, and Tammy Grable.
All right, back to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney joined by Chad Forster, Tammy Grable. Coming up a little bit later on this afternoon, Pawn Talk Live with Michael Mack, owner of the world-famous Max Pawn. We're going to be talking about some really interesting stories, what one of our embattled city councilmen had to say about
Is he
pawn shops.
He's going to be embattled.
Well, he's going to be embattled after
done
this.
with us.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, don't mess with KDWN News Talk, all right? We've got
in your face.
We got 50,000 watts of power to the people, man. Keep it coming. All right, guys, want to open up the phone lines again here, 702-257-5396, 702-257-5396. Now, we've already given away a couple of tickets to tonight's 51s game against the Sacramento River Cats. Congratulations to Joe Peelman for winning those tickets. Now we've got tickets to give away, guys, to 3 amazing shows over at the LVH. We've got tickets to see Raiding the Rock Vault, a fantastic show. We've also got tickets to see Trent Carlini's The King, which if you have never seen Elvis in person, which a lot of us really couldn't get the tickets to see him.
It's tough to
when
do
he was,
nowadays.
Yeah, especially now. He's just he's in demand, but I mean the guy just never shows up.
Hard to find.
Yeah,
hard to find.
Trent Carlini fills in for him admirably over in one of the showrooms that Elvis used to perform in. So you get a chance to see a real great Elvis impersonator, Trent Carlini's The King, and we've also got tickets to see Mosaic, which I like to call a buffer version of NSYNC singing a cappella.
I love Mosaic.
Do you?
They're great.
Aren't they kind of a buffer version of NSYNC singing a cappella?
So. I mean, I think they're...
Is that an insult? You think calling them NSYNC, comparing them to NSYNC's an insult?
I'm not saying it's an insult. I'm just saying that they're not a boy band.
No.
They're not a boy band.
So they're not like the buffer version of 98 Degrees, otherwise known as 99 Degrees?
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, do you remember 98 Degrees? Boy, that's a blast from 1994.
I'm sure glad that's over with. All that boy
Jeez.
band. I mean, we still have to deal with Justin Bieber, but at least the rest of that crap's over with.
Hey, listen, the only difference between boy bands now and boy bands then is boy bands then knew they were boy bands. Justin Bieber thinks he's a thug, and I'm thinking this kid is from Canada. I mean, he's tatted up, but he looks like he's still about 12, and I personally, I don't get it. I'm like, listen, you got like 6 assault charges. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, let's be
Go to
honest,
LA
though.
and kick it.
The first boy band, no one wants to say this, was the Beatles. No one wants to call them a boy band, but I mean, if you compare
they were amazing, yes.
I mean, they were obviously talented as compared to some of these boy bands.
If you saw Justin Bieber walking across the street with a hoodie, would you cross the street?
I would, just on principle, because I don't like that guy, but it has nothing to do with being afraid or anything.
Look at that. I think we're just going all back and forth here.
What are you doing?
Listen, well, we're just doing a little talk back and forth here. No, the Beatles were, I was going to say probably the best and all-time greatest boy band. But if we're going to call those boy bands, you could say the Rolling Stones, Cream.
Well,
that's not a boy band. Beatles were a boy band.
When they first came out, when they were doing Help and all those that was very boy bandish. And then they actually did some real stuff.
Well, don't you think that maybe the boy bands got that from the Beatles? That the Beatles weren't actually a boy band. They were more of a band. See, here's my thing with boy bands. What are you talking about band? They don't play any instruments.
That's true.
I mean, what band?
Well, I guess then the Monkees were the first boy band.
Thank you.
They didn't play anything.
Show, though.
All right, you know what I'm going to tell you?
I'm sure you did.
Best guy to never be signed as a monkey, Neil Young.
I know.
He tried out for that part and did not get it. And thank the Lord, Neil Young was able to write 500 of the greatest songs in the canon of American songwriting.
I'll throw another
for
one
not
in there. Stephen Stills also tried out for the Monkees and was rejected. Thank God for Stephen Stills.
And then they talked about a horse in the desert with no name, and wrote some great songs together.
Crosby was too fat; he couldn't fit in that little outfit.
That's right. Well, hey, you know what? You know what's coming up this weekend, guys? A lot of fun. We've got Memorial Day weekend here upon us, and it's really, it's hard to believe that they give kids another 3-day weekend after we just had one last weekend, for God's sakes. But we've got Memorial Day going on, and I know that, we all have our own particular traditions when it comes to holidays and how we feel about it. But, Chad, what are your big plans for Memorial Day? Do you barbecue, lay by the pool, ask the sun to give it all it's got?
A guy like me doesn't really lay by the pool because I don't want to offend anybody. But, yes, to me, traditionally... not here, but back home, I go up camping. We go up camping. It's time to spend with the family. And obviously remember all of those that, gave their lives for this country and gives us this freedom. Obviously has a lot to do with it. But for me, it's about being with family. This weekend, I'm going to watch Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
so
God.
Things have changed a tad bit.
I tell you what, that is the one movie I've been waiting on Vudu to see that I haven't quite
now, that's
rented
America.
yet.
Let's be honest.
It's American as apple pie and high-dose vitamin C. All right, but what about you, Tammy? What are you doing for Memorial Day, or do you have something set that you do every year?
I don't have anything set, but actually Monday I'm going out with Kenny Lee, is the owner of Lee's Discount Liquor. I'm going out with his wife, and we're going furniture shopping.
That's very American.
I know, we're doing
because there's
Memorial
furniture.
sales.
There's furniture sales on. That's perfect.
Oh, and then I'm going to Max Pond too. Get
Wow.
those
I
kids'
would hope
autographs.
so.
Look, I was going to say, that's where you really got to go if you're trying to get the good deals. All right. So for me, what am I doing on Memorial Day?
Oh yeah, are we supposed to ask? Sorry,
might
Dave.
ask.
No,
No,
Dave,
we're
what
so
are you doing on
selfish.
Memorial Day?
No, I was going to tell you anyways.
Okay.
It wasn't really that. So Memorial Day. Now check this out. I've got 3 box sets that I've got kind of lined up ready. Okay. So Walking Dead. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to go seasons 1 through 3 again. We got the kids around, so it's appropriate for them. They've got to be properly scared on Memorial Day. We're going to go. We're going to go Walking Dead, okay, first. We're going to start that off in the morning. Then we're actually going to go Band of Brothers, which was a really great
Good
show.
call.
Got to do something, a little reverential, little historical. And then we're going to end up with the best Army movie ever made, Sergeant Bilko. And that's
Really?
What are you going to eat?
Eat is going to be different. I'm going to eat the same thing I eat every day, about 3 whole chickens, a
And a can of tuna fish.
7 cans of tuna fish, and about 1.5 pounds of greens. So that's
This
what I'll
guy,
be
every
dieting
That
on.
sounds exciting for your son.
Every 15 minutes, this guy's eating something. Every 15 minutes,
Good.
he's
He
got
looks
something
good.
in his
Look at
mouth.
him. I was just noticing his arms.
Oh yeah, they're getting there,
Dave,
man.
you're,
We're we're going to the gun
I
show.
even see like one vein popping out there.
What?
You're gonna.
One vein.
Should you have more?
I should have hit that one. No, kidding, obviously. No, but it's again, it's a great weekend here. To do all sorts of stuff, and
Going to
Chad,
the baseball game would be great to, for this weekend as well.
that's what I was
obviously.
going to say. So you've got baseball, which is hot, and here's the other thing too. The Rebels Mountain West tournament, not just the Rebels, but the Mountain West tournament is also in town.
Baseball tournament.
So yeah,
yes.
you can see the Mountain West baseball tournament. And what is the field that they play off of, Chad? I always confuse the name.
Wilson. I can't.
Yeah, it's like Ralph Wilson Stadium or something.
Ralph or Betty Wilson or
something.
Steve
Ralph-
Wilson. It's a Wilson.
Ralph Wilson
It's
sounds
Ralph Wilson.
wrong.
It's Ralph Wilson, I think.
Is
You're
it?
right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I knew I heard it somewhere, and I've been there, to see
I'm
games a
gonna
number
look it
of
up
times.
now.
You know what the interesting thing was last night, though, because generally you don't think of UNLV baseball as being super well attended. I was getting tweets from friends of mine that it was taking 25 to 30 minutes to get out of the parking lot of the stadium. Now, I mean, it's just, again, Tammy, like we talked about earlier, when you see these local kind of, kids, 15 guys from Vegas, 17 from Nevada, and you see a local program like UNLV, doing so well.
It's Earl.
It's Earl.
Earl Wilson Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. When they built that, they didn't expect them to be this good where people actually wanted to go. Because you got the practice fields over there for football.
Right.
You've got students coming in and out, faculty, all that kind of stuff. It's really not built for tons of people. And now that they're actually good and they have the Mountain West tournament there, it becomes a little bit crowded. So
Yeah.
I would say get there early, bring yourself a nice picnic basket, something to drink,
Hey,
and you're going to have a
Wow,
great
you're very
time.
domesticated.
Well, that's what I would do.
He just wants his picnic basket. Hey, listen, the best baseball stadium for local college, though, in town, and, going back to Tim Chambers, is the College of Southern Nevada.
Totally.
CSN's baseball facility, and I'd like to say lovingly it's the stadium that Bryce Harper built, but he didn't, but is really probably the coolest, small college baseball field. Really well done. The design is perfect. And what they did at the CSN facility that they didn't do at the other ones, namely Cashman Field and Earl Wilson Stadium, is plan for how the sun would hit that field when people are actually playing. So the way the stadium is designed, it's got a very good blockage of sun. So once it's 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, you don't get the glare onto the field. So really good stuff. Now, guys, ending up here kind of on another a sad note, I guess I should say. I mean, for me, it's it's a loss of 42 days of work a year, and for the fans, it's the loss of something that we've come to really enjoy and appreciate for the last 11 years. the Las Vegas Wranglers are done.
Yeah, I make jokes about it, but honestly, I have to say, being at a number of games, probably some of the best fans. I mean, very, very loyal, very, very, into the team, and I feel bad for them. The guys that are going there, the guys and gals and families that are going there every night watching games, it's not going to be there anymore, and it's too bad. I mean, outside of the 51s, or used to be called the Las Vegas Stars, the longest franchise has ever been here in Las Vegas, and it's going away, and it's too bad. I really wish that deal would have worked downtown, but we all kind of knew it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible. You're not going to build an outdoor tent for $2 million and put a minor league hockey team in and expect to make any money. That's just dumb.
Well, listen, and not to sound offensive, because obviously the organization has been very, very good to me in my 5 years with them. So, many kudos, but it was almost insulting to think that we were going to get something built on the 5th floor pool area, dropping in Zambonis and, millions of pounds of sand to make the ice. It was almost insulting that would be floated out
Well, that was
there.
the first idea, and then they were going to go to the tent.
The tent on top of the 5th floor.
Oh, the tent was on top of the 5th floor.
And then it goes from 5th floor to the parking lot behind the trains where, you may or may not get mugged as a part of your ticket price. I mean, listen, it was offensive. And, again, all the people that worked there, fantastic guys. I mean, the folks over at the Orleans Arena, Class A. Everybody over there, fantastic. It's just, it really is hard. And I mean,
with
Tammy,
maybe one exception.
Well, possibly. That's all right.
What are you going to do with your time now?
Oh, God. Let's see.
Well, but
Walking Dead.
Fill it back up, yeah.
but here's the silver lining. Let's always look for the silver lining, right? This makes way for a possible NHL,
That's right.
AHL
You're
team.
absolutely correct.
And taking it up a notch. And I think out of any of the professional sports, major league professional sports that would work here, NHL would probably do the best.
Yeah,
I honestly believe
that. Well, that and Major League Soccer, which we talked about last
true.
week as
good
well.
Good point.
Yeah, absolutely. And two sports that both of those guys like to play together. The hockey players play soccer before they
and
go
there's
on the game.
goals, and you can goal either way. So
everything's 3-1. All right, guys, it is 1:45. We're going to step aside, take our final look at traffic here on Live Las Vegas. When we come back, we do have a community calendar and a little bit of entertainment uncovered in case you didn't have plans already for Memorial Day weekend. Stay with us.
It's 1:45 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. On your freeways, accidents 215 eastbound at Paradise and 215 eastbound at the 15. There are wrecks Decatur at Rancho and Las Vegas Boulevard approaching Silverado Ranch, and there's a hit-and-run Harmon west of Cobol. Watch for road work along Rancho between Sahara and Rainbow and between Sahara and the 95. Most of the work is being done in the overnight hours, and that will be through May. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Denise Marmeyer on News Talk 720, KDWN.
Hi, this is Greg from Jersey Electric, the largest residential solar installer in Las Vegas. We're changing the name of our solar division and launching a new website, which means big offers and more savings for our customers. Call 877-43-SOLAR, that's 877-437-6527 to hear more about our pre-launch specials. We're giving away Kindle Fires along with Sign Today, Save Today event. Don't wait for your PV system to be installed on your roof. Start saving money the day you sign your contract with us. Call 877-43-SOLAR, that's 877-43-SOLAR to hear more about our pre-launch offers. Our PV systems and finance options are custom designed for you and your home, making it quick and easy to gain energy independence. Fix your energy costs today by purchasing a solar system and protect yourself against NV Energy's rising rates by creating cheaper, cleaner power on your roof. Call 877-43-SOLAR. That's 877-437-6527 for your free site survey today. Check out Jersey Electric reviews on Angie's List.
There's so much you need to take into consideration when you design a retirement plan.
How do you decide when to take Social Security benefits? How can you manage your tax liability or prepare for retirement?
Can you protect yourself against the potential for rising interest rates or the possible effect of inflation or even deflation?
I'm Rick Plum, Certified Financial Planner from RJL Wealth Management.
And I'm Terry Keys, Chartered Financial Consultant. We've been helping investors design retirement plans for years, and we answer these questions every day.
Should you annuitize a portion of your income? Have you considered alternatives to stocks, bonds, and cash?
Should you convert a portion of your IRA or contribute to a Roth IRA?
Get your questions answered and get a free customized retirement plan designed especially for you in a complimentary consultation with an RJL Wealth Management financial strategist.
Call to schedule today, 800-644-1150, 800-644-1150.
800-644-1150.
Rick Plum and Terry Keys are registered representatives of and offer securities through Lucia Securities LLC, member SIPC, and affiliate
of RJL Wealth Management, LLC.
Dave Carney here, inviting you to the all-new Live Las Vegas with me and my new co-host, Chad Forster. Every Friday from 1 till 2, Chad and I break down top Vegas news, sports from around the country, and entertainment in a really fun way. Yeah, that's right, talk radio can actually be fun. Live Las Vegas every Friday at 1.
This is Adam Fenn of Haynes & Krieger Realty. Join me every Thursday morning from 9 to 10 a.m., along with Dustin DeHart of Nova Home Loans, as we answer all your real estate questions on the Real Estate and Financial Hour, every Thursday morning on 720 KDWN.
Now, back to Live Las Vegas with Dave Carney, Chad Forster, and Tammy Grable.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Streaming worldwide at KDWN.com. Also check up with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at liveinlasvegasradio.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Live in Las Vegas 720. Follow me personally at Dapper Dave C. Follow Chad at Chad Tweet Stuff. And Tammy's got Tammy Grable, if you can believe that, at Tammy Grable, her actual name. Of course you love it. You get a new name, you get a new Twitter handle. It's awesome. There's multiple benefits in getting married.
How much of a hassle that was to figure out how to transfer all my followers?
No, I don't.
All of your followers. Are you
so
bragging?
lucky.
How many followers do you have?
I'm not telling you.
Is it a lot?
All
10,000?
Just follow me, please.
I already
10,000.
do follow you.
I know, thank you.
But I didn't look how many you have.
Still, I mean, just imagine you have to change your name on everything, including social media. I'm going to do a seminar.
Well, you're the one that said I do. So
that's right.
I don't feel. There's no sympathy coming from me.
Listen, and I'm not one of these new school guys that's like, yeah, the man's got to take her last name. No. We're not reinventing the wheel, just to avoid Twitter complications. We're just, listen, you take my name, you take my Twitter handle.
I'm proud to take my husband's name. I love Seth.
That's great. Well, yeah, and he's got he's got a great look, too. I mean, that whole bald thing, it's
I know.
It's in right now. It's in right now. And you know what else is in? Tickets to 3 great shows down at the LVH, Raiding the Rock Vault Mosaic, as well as Trent Carlini's The King. Get online with us here, 702-257-5396, 702-257-KDWN. We've got tickets to all of our callers today on both Live in Las Vegas and Pawn Talk Live coming up just a little bit later on. But right now, jumping into some cool stuff going on around the community. Before we do some entertainment stuff, Tammy, you were able to find out a couple of really cool things going on.
Yeah, we got something. We got Rock the Vault. We got Rock the Lake actually this weekend. It's benefiting the Veterans Care Foundation at the Village at Lake Las Vegas. Sunday from noon to 10. Check it out. It's $20. And veterans get a 20% discount. Go on to veteranscarefoundation.us. They have Travis Allen. He's an Elvis guy. Talking about the Beatles. B of tribute to the Beatles. Michael Jackson raffle. You can win an exotic car.
Really?
Yeah. So
Michael Jackson raffle. They got that's for 18 and over only.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, no kids there.
Yeah.
You guys are so
You don't want to go into...
I'm telling you, you could take anything and turn it around.
Well, that's our job, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've got to say, I'm just like a little surprised that it's Memorial Day and veterans only get 20% off. I mean, what is that? $2 out of a $20 ticket.
Oh boy,
I'm like, listen,
it's benefiting.
It's an effort. It's an effort.
Benefiting a foundation.
And it's Lake Las Vegas. That's nice. That's a nice place. That'd be a nice place to spend the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
No, it's going to be a gorgeous weekend. You know what's great about Lake Las Vegas, guys, is now that they've got water, sprinkling on grass again. You're starting to see some of the beauty that Lake Las Vegas had because, in the rush of 2003, 4, 5, when Celine Dion was, probably the flagship resident out there at Lake Las Vegas. I mean, it was one of the most beautiful destinations in the state. It has taken a long time to get back there.
08, 07, 08 hit them pretty hard, yeah. And now they're making their way back, and it's cool. When I flew back home, I flew back here. You go over top of it, and and it looks like it is getting a little greener. And it's starting to redevelop, which is nice.
I love that area. I know it's it's underutilized, and we should go out and utilize it more.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a getaway.
Absolutely. All right, what else you got for us?
So, and then I wanted to plug on June 6th, we have NABO. It's an organization for women. They're having their WODA. WODA. That's the Women of Distinction Awards.
WODA.
Ceremony. WODA. And the mistress of ceremony is Monica Jackson. It's their 16th year for Women of Distinction Awards. And over 400 business owners will be there, and over 30 women will be honored. It's just an amazing event, and it's at the Paris Hotel. So log on to NAWBOSNV.org to get more information on that.
Excellent. All right, sounds good. Well, guys, we're coming up here to the last part of the show. Been a really fun Live in Las Vegas. Let's get you set for your weekend with Entertainment Uncovered.
Be a lady tonight.
You've worked all week. Now it's time to hit the town. We'll tell you where in this edition of Entertainment Uncovered.
All right, here we are. Entertainment Uncovered.
Frank gets you going, doesn't he?
He really does, man. Yeah, Frank is all, listen, old blue eyes. If I could take that, there would be a wrong way. I said he always gets me going, but it might be misconstrued. Just love his music. Great stuff there. And hey, shout out to one of Frank Sinatra's best songs ever. Well, it's probably a standard now, but Full Moon and Empty Arms recently got covered by another one of America's greatest singer-songwriters, Bob Dylan. And I tell you what, you knew I had to throw it in there.
That's $5 in the jar, by the way. Every time I hear Bob Dylan reference, that's $5.
Hey, stay tuned for our new segment, 6 Degrees of Bob Dylan. Anyways, covered by him. Great stuff. Now,
I like Summer Wind, by the way.
Summer Wind, great
that's my
song.
favorite Frank song.
When I was 17 is probably my favorite Frank song. Just the storytelling in that was great. The writing in Tin Pan Alley was always fantastic. But we got a line, first of all, to distill an elixir from our trusty entertainment correspondent, Tammy Grable. And apparently Distill an Elixir, which is it's a burger joint and a boozery, is going to be giving away, because of National Burger Month, free burgers on May 28th. So I know that's coming up next
that would
week.
Be good for Chad. Free burgers.
Yeah, I'm
there.
there.
How did you hear about that?
Why do you?
You love burgers. What's your?
You love burgers?
She's profiling me. It's a fat profile.
You have told me this.
It's fat profiling.
Yeah, she's fat profiling me. That's not very nice, Tammy. That hurts my feelings. But yes, I will be there. You're absolutely 100% correct.
All right, well, go check out Distill and Elixir online. Just Google them and see all about National Burger Month. Well, something else that's opening up, and Chad, it might be a way to get you by the pool and still supporting the community.
Food there?
There is.
Okay.
It's churros and hot dogs, but Wet and
I love churros.
Oh, Wet and Wild opens up then. Now, if you've been out in Vegas as long as you say you have, you must have been 4 when you were at Wet and Wild before they closed down. But it was a great time, and really some of the best summer memories I've had as a kid were at Wet and Wild, and I feel really bad that the kids of today don't have the same Wet and Wild that we had.
Do they have the Dare Stuka?
No, it's not called the Dare Stuka anymore. I'm not exactly sure what their rides are called. They have some different names for them, but brand new facility, and it was opened up last year, but they are opening this weekend. So Memorial Day weekend is when a ton of the pools in town start to really open up in earnest. I know a lot of the sports clubs, the YMCAs, things for kids start opening up. But get on down to Wet and Wild, first of all, early, because if you're going to plan to be there when they opened, last year the lines were reportedly a block and a half, 2 blocks long to get into them. Get there early, reserve a spot in the best shade possible, because it is going to be hot this weekend. Well, at least it's going to be getting warmer, about 91 on Saturday, 97 on Sunday.
And where they put it is right in smack dab in the middle of the desert. There's absolutely no trees. There's no shade.
Nothing.
I mean, it's just slides and kids everywhere. And that's the only downside to this, because I think it's a great park and they've done a great job there, is if you live in the neighborhood and you have a house, not very happy.
You know what?
You're not happy.
Honestly,
just cars everywhere.
I would say that it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you've got a kid that's within the age of Wet and Wildness, it's almost a blessing, because then you're like,
true.
listen, we don't even have to drive. We can just walk there. But yeah, if you're say a grown adult with no kids, and then you've got a bunch of screaming rugrats running all over, you're like, oh, this sucks, And also Cowabunga Bay, which is in Henderson, won't be opening up till June, but they're supposed to have a really good ride set up. So fun stuff coming for Las Vegas. And about time, I'm stamping my hand down in disapproval, about time we've got a water park back out here. Because, listen, I like Turnberry as a company. I'm sure they're fine people, but I could care less about their condos. And I want my Wet and Wild back.
I like that Wet and Wild there. That was a cool place. And it was a great place, for families to drop their kids off and then go gamble. That's the Las Vegas way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to actually bring these kids up. I want to go gamble. Can I drop them off? So, how about Wet and Wild? Perfect.
And only 6 confirmed drownings from negligent parents.
Well,
so really, if you're
not bad odds.
Not over the course of time. Are you kidding me? 6? That's nothing.
You're obviously being facetious.
Of course.
I was going to say, is that a true statement?
No, that's lies.
Come on, listen.
I don't know. I believe everything you say.
That is.
Don't be gullible.
Boy, I tell you what. If I had met you before you were married, well, that's something else. Well, a lot of other good stuff going on this weekend, guys. We have got some really great music and comedy concerts going on this weekend. I know that Cat Williams is going to be in town this Saturday over at the Joint at the Hard Rock. And Cat Williams, one of the most electric, entertaining performers, if you're up for some racial epitaphs. Now, fortunately, Cat Williams is not a public figure, so to speak, because otherwise he should be in a whole lot of trouble for his comedy act.
Yeah, Cat doesn't hold back. back. And,
Not really.
And it's kind of refreshing, though. It's kind of a cool take on things because he doesn't do that, and he's, 3.5 feet tall, so which is kind of neat on top of it because he speaks like he's 6'9", but he's
That's right.
But a great comic, and that would be a great show to go check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you definitely want to, parental guidance on that one for sure.
I can tell you one guy that's not going to be in attendance, Donald Sterling, not a fan of Cat Williams.
Probably not.
All right, guys, it's been a really, really
or
fun.
Clive and Monday, for that
not
matter.
so much. He's busy anyways. He's got to fight off the federales. All right, really great show here on Live Las Vegas. Don't go anywhere, though, because we have got a super big Pawn Talk Live coming up right after this. Let's step aside, take our final look at traffic. We'll see you guys back here about 5 minutes.
Famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
At KSNV News 3, covering news the way we do isn't easy. It takes commitment with the best people and tools in the field and a team ready to roll wherever news breaks. KSNV News 3, bringing you unbeatable coverage of breaking news with more local news coverage and all the stories that you need to know. In Southern Nevada, there's only one station to turn to for your news. KSNV News 3, Southern Nevada's news leader.
I'm Brian Whitman. How confident are you that you've addressed all of your financial and estate planning needs? I can help. Listen every Tuesday morning at 9 for the Financial Hour with Brian Whitman on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Short on time? Get the Valley's best local news updates online anytime.